There's one explosive player that just got drafted by the Chicago Bears in the 2024 NFL Draft. And the fact that he got drafted number 1 overall isn't the most impressive thing about him.
I wouldn't say it's my full expectation.
Is Eberflus up for that? Like, is he up for?
I hope so.
Handling a Caleb?
You can't bring that Hollywood stuff into the building, especially now with guys who play this game. I feel like at a high level for consecutive years in the league.
It's a fact that right from the moment he declared for the draft, he's being mentioned in the same sentences as Patrick Mahomes, Brock Purdy, and other star quarterbacks in the league. He may be a rookie, but he already has the buzz of a veteran. His name is Caleb Williams, and this is why many people are calling him the NFL's next superstar. Who is Caleb Williams? Caleb Williams has been called Superman since high school. Not many people know his mom actually helps do his nails. Born on November 18, 2001 in Washington, D.C., Caleb Williams is the son of former football player Carl Williams and former varsity athlete Dane Price. Safe to say that even before Caleb even took his first steps, he had sports coursing through his veins thanks to his parents. Even though he had the genes, he also needed the mentality for it. Since he was a kid, Caleb knew that he wanted to be a pro footballer, and he didn't have to do much to convince his dad to help him achieve his goal. He did everything from intense practice to strict diets and even condition resting, all before going into high school. So, by the time Caleb Williams had AP algebra to worry about, he had become a problem that other high school coaches were trying to solve. Caleb Williams went to high school at Gonzaga College High School, a private Catholic school situated in Washington, D.C. During his sophomore year in 2018, a then 17-year-old Caleb Williams would lead his school to a WCAC championship, earning them the bragging rights of the best high school team in the district. En route to the victory, he passed for 2,624 passing yards with 26 touchdowns and rushed for 394 yards, scoring 10 touchdowns. He was truly a dual-threat quarterback. For his individual brilliance, he was named to the Washington Post All-Metropolitan First Team, as well as the highest individual honor for his level, the Washington, D.C. Gatorade Football Player of the Year. The next year, he retained his spot on the Washington Post All-Metropolitan First Team, but that wasn't the craziest thing he did that year. He passed for 1,770 yards and completed 19 touchdown passes. He rushed 838 yards and scored 18 rushing touchdowns. In the high school quarterback competition known as the Elite 11, he won the MVP award. Caleb Williams wasn't a high school athlete. He was an insane athlete that just happened to be in high school. The only reason nobody heard about him doing incredible things in 2020 was because of COVID. But by then, Williams had made it known that there was no high school football player more talented than him. So, with high school done, the number 1 talent nationwide had the whole country fixed on which college he would choose to attend. Williams would walk into any college and he'd meet a warm welcome. But a player of his caliber really only belonged to one of 3 universities, LSU, OU, or Maryland. Williams wouldn't go to either LSU or Maryland, but instead became a Sooner. Why didn't he play at the college with the biggest sporting culture or his hometown college? Why did he have to pick a college several states away? Williams wanted to make the most out of college as a dual-threat quarterback. And where better than the college that produced Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, and Jalen Hurts? And the fact that the coach that had coached these players, Lincoln Riley, was still there made Oklahoma a no-brainer. Not to mention 2 of the last 5 Heisman Trophy winners before Williams were from this university. But if anyone thought Williams had peaked in high school, he was more than ready to prove them wrong.
Williams has plenty of time, steps up, watches downfield for Mims, diving catch!
What's even the hype about? In his first year as a Sooner, Williams was an understudy to his senior and fellow quarterback Spencer Rattler, who was also a number 1 talent coming out of high school. But it wouldn't be long until Williams showed that it didn't matter that he was new here. Nobody should be starting ahead of him.
Williams has to recover the snap, now tries to make some magic, touchdown!
He would prove just this in a heated game against his college rivals, the Texas Longhorns. The Sooners were trailing 28-7 when Coach Riley felt he needed to bring on Williams. This proved to be the best decision he made all season. In his first college play from scrimmage, he didn't go for a pass, but instead rushed all the way to the end zone, over 50 yards away. He made 2 passing touchdowns later in the game. By the final whistle, the Sooners had overturned the deficit and won the game with a score of 55-48.
Football. It's a keeper all the way, makes a cut, dances free, and look out! Caleb Williams in the secondary! They're trying to run him down. Dives!
In the Sooners' next game, the quarterback on the bench was not Williams, but Radler. And anybody who thought his game against the Longhorns was a fluke stopped doubting after Williams' first game as a starter.
He's got their assignment.
2nd and 6. Williams back shoulder fake. Cut.
He had 295 passing yards, resulting in 4 touchdowns. He also rushed for 66 yards and scored a touchdown.
TC, one of the worst in the country in that department. Play action. Williams across the middle. End zone. Touchdown.
By the end of the season, he had made 21 passing touchdowns and 6 rushing touchdowns, passed over 1,900 yards, and rushed over 400 yards. But as the school year was over, so was his player-coach relationship with Coach Riley, who had left the Sooners to be with USC. Seeing the man who helped him have a breakout freshman year now coach at a different university was enough for Caleb to make the transfer as well. Now a sophomore with Coach Riley, Williams was ready for his best college season yet.
Washington in the slot. Williams was looking there, closed off. Comes back. Boy, that head is on a swivel. It is really impressive. And now a touchdown throw to Brendan Rice.
In 2022, Williams was among the top 10 in pass completions and pass attempts, and top 3 in the NCAA in passing yards, where he led the league in passing touchdowns. All this, with his other incredible feats, led to him winning the trophy he had worked so hard for since he started college, the coveted Heisman Trophy. He also became the first USC player to win the Associated Press College Football Player Award since Reggie Bush won it in 2005. At that moment, it was clear as day that Caleb Williams was destined for the NFL. Just one more year in college, and he'd be eligible. His last year with the Trojans was truly incredible. It brought his college career numbers to 120 total touchdowns and over 10,000 throwing yards. So when the 2024 NFL draft came along, it was only right that no one was called before him. The number 1 overall draft pick would settle down in Chicago, with the Bears picking him.
With the first pick in the 2024 NFL draft, the Chicago Bears select Caleb Williams, quarterback, Southern California.
There he is, a Detroit.
The rookie contract he signed guarantees him $39.4 million. And still some analysts debated whether Williams would be ready for the pace of the NFL.
Head to Michigan Avenue.
He might not have ran a 40 in Indy, but he's running one here. I mean, he is flying up there. He's excited to get this journey started.
When you see all the things that come with Caleb Williams, people have talked about the nail polish and the flair that he, the way that he dresses, and he made so much money in NIL. I can tell you from experience, this guy.
Is he ready for the NFL? The real question is the NFL ready for Caleb Williams? He has the passing ability of Patrick Mahomes and the rushing ability of Lamar Jackson. He's literally the best of both worlds.
Caleb Williams on 3rd down and 10 with USC trailing 14-0. Williams, deep shot, receiving, it's caught! Brendan Rice into the end zone for a touchdown!
The fact that he will most likely be the starting quarterback in the Bears roster says a lot about how much potential he has. He's the first quarterback who has won a Heisman Trophy to be drafted number 1 since Joe Burrow in 2024. And we've seen what Joe Burrow has gone on to do. Although Joe Burrow has a better Heisman Trophy winning year than Williams in college, in between the numbers lies a big truth. Williams scored twice as many rushing touchdowns as Burrow did and roughly the same amount of yards. Williams has fewer passing yards, but that's because Burrow attempted more passes. And one thing Joe Burrow doesn't have is that duality that Williams possesses that sets him apart from other quarterbacks. If his team needs to rush, he will. Need a Hail Mary? No problem. This versatility is something that the Bears could really use right now.
Zachariah Branch motions, and look at all that. Opens up a huge gap. Caleb Williams off to the races and finally run down by Aiden Seuli to save a touchdown.
If the Bears chose not to start him, we saw in college what happened when Williams was on the bench. He'll make you wish you started him by the time he steps out onto the field. If the numbers and track record of Williams are anything to go by, the Chicago Bears have a generational talent on their hands.
This pocket collapsing, and he just throws it across his chest.
His stardom is as certain as anything. The question now is, how soon will we get to see him display the best of his ability?
Cover the field when the deeper and deeper routes start to develop.
Can he have the type of longevity required to be considered an all-time great? And most importantly, how far can he take his team in the NFL? What are you most excited about seeing Caleb Williams do in the NFL? Let us know in the comments section.